I welcome all the participants in this stream Gender in Development. This particular session on gender sensitization, and it's very important for you to know what exactly the term gender is. I'll be talking about various discourses on gender and understanding of masculinity and femininity, understanding of sex and gender and their roles, the stereotypes and the biases that exist in our society, the gender needs, and a deeper response to unequal gender relations in this field. If I ask you what is gender in a very simple term, there is no particular definition, but basically if I say, then I could explain it as gender is a socially constructed definition of women and men. It usually refers to a set of characteristics that are considered to distinguish between male and female. Now, sex indicates the biological characteristics of men and women. People are born male and female. With very few exceptions, they remain the same and throughout their lives in terms of their biological makeup. The biological differences between men and women are identified at birth, and for example, only women can give birth and only men have certain biological connotations. So, gender and sex. Sex refers to the biological and physiological characteristics that define men and women, and gender refers to the socially construct roles, behaviors, activities, attributes that are given by society considering appropriate for men and women. Now, more simplistic definition: sex is biological, universally accepted, unchanging, inborn, and gender is constructed by society, multifaceted, differs from one culture to the other, dynamic, it changes over time, and it's also acquired. There are two main genders, that is masculine and feminine, although some cultures also acknowledge more gender. Androgyny, for example, has been proposed for a third gender, and some societies have more than 5 genders, and some non-Western societies have 3 genders, that is men, women, and third gender. Gender expression refers to the external manifestation of one's gender identity through masculine, feminine, or gender variations, or gender neutral behavior, clothing, hairstyle, or body characteristics. Gender, sex, woman or female. One is not born as woman, one becomes one. A woman is not born as woman, but she is framed as one later. Culture plays a very important role in this. Sex is biological and physiological. Gender and sex difference between sources of cultural symbolism are given individual characteristics of femaleness and maleness. Gender is what we achieve. Now, I'll give you an exercise where a series of statements are given. After each statement, the participants have to decide whether the characteristics behavior in the statement is gender or sex. Each participant must decide for themselves without discussion, and there is no right or wrong answer, and the response of the participant should freely choose whatever they think is correct according to them and as per their culture. After this exercise, let's get to the terminology. This gender has been derived from the French word genre. How society and culture defines female and male terms explains the way society constructs the differences between men and women, boys and girls. Gender is socially given roles. And now we'll be talking about what exactly these gender roles are as per the construct of the society. The stereotype roles are the characteristics of women and men. Women stay at home, look after the children. Men do not stay at home and they do not look after the children. Women is a housewife and do not go outside. Men go outside and earn money. Women are beautiful, delicate and tender. Women are robust and very brave. Girls help in kitchen and fetch water. Boys play and do not help in the rearing of the children. Like these kind of stereotypes, the norms that are there, that are very much the attributes that are attached to male and women and the boys and girls, like goes very along with our social culture. Now they are also, as I said, these roles are given by the society. Unlike the sex categories, gender categories are variables and often hierarchical in the distribution of power and privilege. Gender shapes the individual's opportunities for education, work, family, authority and reproduction. It also influences an individual's chances of making an impact on the production of knowledge and culture. Now there is a big question, is gender permanent? Gender changes from time to time with increasing rapidity due to change in culture, economic development, technology, constitutional and legal framework. Women go outside, work outside and become breadwinners. Women get an opportunity of education and become school teachers, doctors, engineers, space scientists, police officers, so on and so forth. Some men start sharing household work and give space to women in decision making and economic and cultural and community leadership. There is again a quick quiz. What these pictures refers to? Is it sex or gender? And what do they talk about women and men and their role and the stereotypes and the biases that exist in the society? Women perform three main roles, that is also paid and mainly unpaid. One is the productive role, that is farming and producing. Second is the reproductive roles, that is house chores, caring of family and other things. And third is the community management roles, that is refers to the activities that women go to ensure the supply of resources at the community level. Now there are some gender stereotypes, which is a negative and partial attitude, acknowledgement and assessment of the characteristics, positions and roles and capacities of men and women. And they are the viewpoints from others assuming that men or women are able to do or not able to do, should do or should not do, unable to do or should not do something in the given set of social roles. So these sayings, these stereotypes and these biases are like, in some families, girls cannot pursue higher education, should not be invested in girls' education, it should be more given to the boys, boys should not do household work, and in some workplaces like male workers should take the heavy and hazardous jobs according to the list of prohibited female workers, and cannot recruit female workers who have little children or give these women, or these women are given a lower wage. Now the question is, are these sayings just a prejudice or have they become a specific action in a certain social setup, in a cultural setup? A story that runs, I'll give you one story, that a father and son met with an accident. The father is safe but the son gets hurt. He is immediately rushed to the hospital. The neurosurgeon is called and the neurosurgeon says that to the boy that I cannot operate him. The boy is my son. Now the question is, who is this neurosurgeon? Is it the father or the mother? Now there are some practical and strategic gender needs of women after the constructs of these stereotypes, biases, attributes, cultures and roles as given by the society and a certain particular culture. There is a strategic need and there are what we call is a practical need of the woman. The practical need of a woman is a response to immediate need, and strategic needs are response to unequal gender relation that exists in this society. In order to show the difference in strategic needs and the practical needs, I am going to give you another slide and a story, that is the fish. If you give someone a fish, the saying goes that they will be hungry again tomorrow. But if you teach them how to fish, they will never be hungry again. To give a woman a fish is to address to her practical need, and to give her a fishing skill is to meet her strategic gender need. Another story is an illustration of the milking cow revolving fund. Now the story goes as community development projects have been set up in a number of countries, and through which landless women are provided with a calf and training in milk production and animal care. In return, the women are expected to maintain the health of this cow and to give the first 2 offspring to the revolving fund project. These calves are then passed to the other women who are in the similar circumstances. Here the discussion point is, what practical needs of the women are such revolving funds addressing to? What strategic need are being addressed to, and what else could the project do to better address the women's strategic and practical needs? Now, after this gender, sex, terminology, the stereotypes, the biases, the attributes, the practical and specific strategic needs of the women, if we look into the social norms that exist, then there is a big question that who says boys and girls are equal? A recent survey highlights the fact that when young school boys were asked who should sacrifice the meal in case it fell short on the table, most replies came first as mother and second as the sister. So, who is responsible for the male holding the view that the first person to sacrifice a meal should be mother and followed by the sister as the second choice? Why male members are served meal first in many homes and the female members forced to eat what is left after? Feminization of poverty. Poverty has a female's face. Refers to the high proportion of female-headed families below the poverty line, which may result from the high proportion of women found in occupations with low prestige and income. Exploitation caused by gender ideology. Male gender bias, a preference found in some societies for sons rather than daughters. Female infanticide, the killing of female children. Nutritional deprivation, a form of child abuse involving withholding food, can retard learning, physical development or social adjustment. Honor killing. This refers to a practice found in various Middle East cultures whereby women are put to death at the hands of their own family members because they are thought to have dishonored the family. Gender-based violence or violence against women, a pandemic. This is a global phenomenon. Physical violence against women, the result of gender ideology, continues to be a problem. Every year, millions of women are raped by partners, relatives, friends, and strangers, by employers and colleagues, soldiers, and members of armed groups. The World Health Organization has reported that up to 70% of female murder victims are killed by their male partners. Dowry death. The killing of a wife by her in-laws if the wife's parents fail to pay additional dowry. Incidence 8391, ratio 0.7, 26.4% of the total such cases reported in the country from Uttar Pradesh alone, followed by Bihar. The highest rate of crime was reported from Bihar as compared to the national average of 0.7. Molestation, sexual harassment, importation of girls, immoral traffic. So these are some of the gender issues, a problem that arise from your being a male and a female, or gender construct that is given by the society and the social norms, and some stereotypes about sexual violence and harassment. This goes as rape is precipitated by the victim. Women ask for rape, sexual violence by provocative mode of dressing and behavior, or by going out after dark or going to a shady and lonely places. Rape cannot occur if a woman resists, and women's place is at home. If they go out, they must take what comes in their way. And sexual harassment at workplace and eve teasing are fun. Male sexuality is an uncontrolled force. Women should not arouse it. Stereotypes governing domestic violence. Family is a private place where men have some legitimate rights, has a marital right to discipline his wife. Women are irrational, lagging, and provoke men. Women have deviated from feminine roles of mother and wife which warrant discipline. Poor portrayal of women by media. Indian media gives low priority to the subject of portraying women as equals in the society. The Indian media like nothing better than to see their women folk as homemakers and a compulsive buyers who buys the latest dress, shoes, accessories, cosmetics, mostly at the expense of their husband's money. Although it purports to show them as independent character, the media actually portrays them as consumers rather than as moderate and modern liberated women. After all this discussion, I am going to show you a documentary, rather a short film, which shows how women is portrayed in a society. This is a corporate worker and she is expecting and how she is due to get a promotion, but she is being asked to take a long leave and she is denied a promotion by a boss who is herself a woman, just because she is expecting and she is considered a liability now to this company. And after that we will have a discussion. So this was participants a complete discussion on gender stereotypes, gender biases, gender roles, and complete gender sensitization, how it exists in our society and what exact position a woman has in this in the power correlation with men, and how the women stereotypes work in certain categories as given by the society. Thank you.